Staying on the topic of Transnistria now for Global Rid, it's a pro-Russian territory, as a reminder, though it's not been recognized by the international community and is still considered then an integral part of Moldova. As France 24 has been covering, the recent explosions there are leaving many alarmed that the war in Ukraine could spill over. For more, our international affairs editor, Philip Turle, joins me. Philip, can you fill us in then on the latest developments?
Well, I think the first thing to tell everybody is exactly where Transnistria is, because I expect a lot of people will say, well, where on earth is Transnistria and what is the importance of it in the war in Ukraine and also its attachment to Moldova? Well, here it is. It's this strip of land on the northeastern part of Moldova, which under the rest of the world is part of Moldova, but for the people of Transnistria is not part of Moldova. It's an independent territory which is backed by Russia. All of this came about at the end of the breakup of the Soviet Union, when Moldova became an independent country, but Transnistria broke away from Moldova and is claiming itself to be part of Russia with a Russian-speaking population. It broadcasts Russian media over its transmitters, pro-Russian programs. Therefore, it knows exactly what is going on in the war in Ukraine and, of course, the Russian position. Now, here are a few more facts and figures about Transnistria for you, which we can bring up now, I think, on the board. Its capital is called Tiraspol. It has a population of 347,000. Pretty much equally split between Russians, Moldovans and Ukrainians. The language they speak is mostly Russian. The president is Vadim Krasnoselski, and the Transnistrian War lasted from March to July 1992. Now, since then, there have been Russian soldiers based in the country. They say about 1,500 troops are there. They are calling themselves peacekeepers, but there is suspicion on the side of the Moldovans that, in fact, they're not peacekeepers. They are there to keep an eye on what is going on, and also to keep Russia informed about the situation in Transnistria. So what do we know about these attacks? Well, we know there were three of them. One was against transmitters broadcasting those Russian programs to the people of Transnistria. The second one was inside a building hosting Transnistria's state security ministry. They were caused by a rocket-propelled grenade. The remains of that were found outside. And the third one was against a military unit. What we don't know is who was responsible. We don't know whether it was the Transnistrians themselves who did it. We don't know whether it was the Moldovans who did it. And we don't know whether it was the Russians who did it. And we don't know whether it was the Ukrainians who did it. For the moment, there is a lot of uncertainty about what's going on. But there are suspicions that this could have been what is called a false flag operation. What is a false flag operation? In a conflict, that is an operation by the aggressor against the other side to make it look like the other side has actually launched an attack, but in fact it was the aggressor that did it, to give it an excuse to go into the territory, then to try and take control. That is what the suspicion is over this. For the moment, it'll have to wait for the inquiry to find out exactly what is going on.
Now, Philip, how credible or even realistic are the fears that Russia may be trying to link Transnistria to Russian territories or Russian-acquired territories along Ukraine's Black Sea coast?
Well, that is also another suspicion. Let's bring up this other map, shall we? It makes it all a little bit more easy to understand. So we have all this area here in eastern Ukraine, which is either under Russian control or which Russia is now trying to take control of. Crimea, of course, we all know has been under Russian control since 2014, as have two areas in the Donbass region. Since then, since the current invasion started on the 24th of February, all these areas now are under Russian control. What Russia wants to do is to get hold of Odessa. It wants to control all of the sea area in the south of Ukraine, the Sea of Azov and the Black Sea, to get hold of Odessa. And the suspicion is that after this part of Ukraine has been captured by Russia, it will join up with Transnistria and increase Russia's aim and influence in the region. Now, what the Ukrainians are worried about here is that if Transnistria is joined up to Russia, then that will increase the chances of Russian attacks being launched from the west of Ukraine, this area here, which is still under mostly the control of the Ukrainian government. They fear that that could be used as an area where Russia will try try to launch attacks to increase its stranglehold over Ukraine. Of course, for the moment, we don't know exactly what is going on, who is responsible, but there was a report last week by one Russian military official who said part of the plan, the original plan of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, was to also take control of Transnistria and to link it up with the rest of the country via the Black Sea. So there is reason to believe that this could be part of Moscow's plans.
Now, what's the reaction been, Philip, from Moldova or from the international community?
Well, for the moment, everybody has denied involvement in it. The Moldovan Supreme Security Council has been holding an urgent meeting to discuss what's going on, to say that everyone should remain calm. It doesn't want the situation to blow out of control. It certainly doesn't want the war to spill into Moldova. There is fear that that could also happen. The Transnistrian authorities say, well, they certainly weren't responsible for that. They blamed Ukraine for launching that attack, saying that they say there are illegal movements of Ukrainian fighters in Transnistria, and they want that to stop. And Ukraine itself has blamed Russia. It says that Russia is responsible and is trying to destabilize the whole region to give more credo to its plans to try to link Transnistria up to Russia via that Black Sea route. So for the moment, we don't know exactly what is going on, but this is a pretty worrying development in the war. There is one thing, though, that Russian forces are pretty much busy in the east of Ukraine right now, trying to take control of Donbass. We've seen a huge increase in the amount of weapons being brought into Ukraine from the west, from particularly Germany, which is now bringing in heavy weapons. It looks pretty uncertain for the time being that Russia will want to bring the conflict further west into western Ukraine while it hasn't got hold of eastern Ukraine. So one could be led to believe that this maybe is just an attempt by Russian militants in Transnistria to destabilize the region, but nothing more for the moment. But I think one should keep a watchful eye over the situation.
All right, Philip, Turle, thank you very much for that update.